Good evening. Schools both here and nationwide face a difficult and unfortunate test these days. Is a threat fake or real? Copycat threats appeared in area schools in the days following the Parkland, Florida shooting, making that test even more important to pass. Newswatch 12's Rose McBride has more on the effect right here in the Northwoods. She joins us in the studio. Rose, good evening.
Lane, police arrested students in schools across the country for threatening their own schools. That includes a student at Lakeland Union High School. The nation has seen an increase in threats after the shooting in Florida. The program director for a school safety group told me there is definitely a correlation.
Students and parents felt pure terror.
Oh my God.
On February 14th in Parkland, Florida, a shooter killed 17 people.
I saw two girls dead next to each other, holding hands.
Since then, many students across the country have threatened to copy it.
3 school threats in just 2 days.
2 incidents this week.
Threats on social media,
Online threats. And that threat isn't alone.
Dr. Amy Klinger from the Educators School Safety Network tracks the number of school threats nationally each day. Before the Florida shooting, she saw 10 or 11 on average. But after February 14th, that number rose to 75 threats per day.
Klinger says social media is actually a big part of the threats we've seen.
53% of the threats we've seen after the Parkland shooting have been on some form of social media.
There's that sort of anonymity of people, being willing to say things and do things on social media that they wouldn't be willing to do in person.
It's happening everywhere, and schools in the Northwoods aren't immune. Just last week here at Lakeland Union High School, there was an increased police presence after 2 threats were found on a girl's bathroom stall.
We take these threats very seriously.
Only 200 of the school's 700 students came to school the day after the threats were written. Some school activities were also canceled. Threats put schools in a difficult position.
You can't not respond because we've seen what happens when you don't respond to a threat. But you also, we have to have school. We have to educate kids.
The Monaco police made one arrest after a student posted a threat on Snapchat. Chief Dave Yeager says kids don't often realize threats can have serious consequences for their futures.
When we receive threats like this, it's considered a terrorist act, so we recommended terrorist threats, charges of terrorist threats.
Police determined the threats at Lakeland Union were not credible. They take each threat seriously because school safety is the most important thing.
Make sure that people that are visiting, that are working there, that are attending school there are safe.
Dr. Klinger told me there is a fine line between responding to each threat with increased security and dismissing threats. Responding to each threat gives someone the attention they seek for making that threat, while ignoring a threat could lead to some very dangerous consequences.